Hello, this is Eldoric The Guardian Tank, here with part 2 of Warrior Tanking Talents. Now, last time we ended right before getting into Impending Victory, so here we go. Now, Impending Victory, this one's up to you. Now, if you get Impending Victory, you're going to have to do other things to maximize the usefulness that you're getting out of this, but I like it. What you get from Impending Victory is that any time your target is at 20% health or less, you have the 50% chance of gaining Victory Rush, which is this ability here. Normally, Victory Rush gives you 30% health if you kill a target. And even in an AoE situation, you actually have to deal the killing blow. You can get this, and it's a great proc. It makes another proc off of this Impending Victory that will heal you for 5% of your health. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, and in a lot of ways, it's not a lot of your health. But if you choose to go into glyphs and you glyph into Victory Rush, which improves it by 50%, which will increase this one too. So instead of 30, you get even more. And then with the talent, it increases that. So you get extra there. And then when you combined it with the talent Field Dressing right here, you get a 20% bonus to your overall healing, which can be fantastic. So you definitely want to look into using that. Moving on, again, optional if you want it. I like it, but you may choose differently. Here we go with Vigilance. Now, it's kind of a tricky little thing to figure here. With Vigilance, you have, how do I put this? It increases your generation based off of the target that you affect with it, you buff with it, by 20% of what they're getting hit for. And every time they get hit, it refreshes your taunt. Basically giving you unlimited taunts if that person's getting hit a lot. In a 5-man situation, not useful. No one should be getting hit but you. In a raid situation where you have another tank, very useful. It keeps you pretty much at full vigilance all the time, or full vengeance all the time, and you have unlimited taunts. So it's pretty useful in a raid, not at all. So if you're planning to start on 5-mans, feel free to skip this until you start raiding. Now, here's an interesting one. Thunderstruck. This is a pure AoE ability. It increases your cleave and thunderclap by 6%, and it builds up stacks every time you thunderclap, so your next shockwave does 30% more damage. Very, very useful if you want to be hitting a lot of AoE. As a new tank, I would suggest you pick this up. It'll just help you control groups better until you get a little more acquainted. I don't use this in my current build because I don't have to worry about AoE threat that much. Heavy Repercussions. When you're using this cooldown, Shield Block, it increases the damage of this ability, Shield Slam, by 100%. So, this ability hits for 7,000, like it says on the tooltip, minus all other factors, then it's going to hit for 14, and that's doubled if you get a crit, so it'll be 4 times as much damage, which is very, very nice. I don't carry this because, though it is useful for establishing threat, I don't find 2 points is worth it for me, but that's a me thing. It is a very valid place to go with your thing. And also, since this has more utility instead of just being used on cooldown, and you have more of a consideration because of the damage reduction that now occurs, it's advisable to not use it constantly. Therefore, you get less out of this talent than you used to. Sword and Board is an absolute must. It increases your critical strike chance with Devastate by 15%, which is very much welcome. In addition, your Devastate and Revenge have a 30% chance of refreshing the cooldown on your Shield Slam and reducing its cost to nothing. Revenge and Devastate, wonderful. 2 of your bread and butter rotational abilities. You'll be using them a lot. And have a 30% chance for a free Shield Slam, very, very nice. So you're going to want to pick up this talent. Safeguard. This is incredibly situational. What it does is whatever you intervene reduces the overall damage by 30%. So it makes almost like a cooldown. Some pro tanks actually pick this up, so if they're in a 1-tank fight, or one where the off-tank isn't needed all the time, they can actually intervene the main tank and basically give them cooldowns for nothing. So it can be a very, very useful ability. But you may not need it starting out, so you may want to skip this one. Shockwave, you're going to want this. It's a wonderful AoE ability, and it stuns everything in front of you for 4 seconds. It doesn't matter if there's 100 mobs in front of you. You're going to stun them all and do a lot of damage on them. You can also use a single target if you just want to stun them for a bit. You can chain, let's say, if you have a caster mob, you can bash them. That will silence them for 3 seconds. Heroic strike them, another few seconds. Then you can use concussion blow and stun them for 5 seconds, and you can use this, and you can basically lock down an opponent. So you want to pick up this ability. Is it absolutely required? No. But starting out, you're going to want to have it. So good stuff. Okay, I'm going to remove a few talents from this tree in order to show you the other options you may have. Moving over here, War Academy. This has been nerfed a little bit for Protection Wars, but it's still a good ability. You get 15% damage increase to your Devastate and Victory Rush. And since you use Devastate all the time, and I being a fan of Victory Rush with the Impending Victory talent, I tend to like this ability. So I go with it. Field Dressing, this is a must-have. Increases all the healing done on you by 6% and all the healing done on yourself by 20%. You want it mostly for that 6%. That's a really, really nice ability to have. Most people are going to skip Blitz. It's okay, but this is a little more PvP-ish. Can help, but it's not worth the 2 points. There's better options. Now, if you're going to continue down this tree, the best option here is Deep Wounds. I actually have this on my typical spec because I like the ability to use the Worgen Racial with it. And I have a little bit higher crit, so I go with this, but it's not necessary. With my current build and gear, I can have about 70% uptime of this, and it's pretty worth it. Also, if you, in an AoE situation, if you do get a crit off of your AoE abilities, you can proc this too, which is nice. Half damage over 6 seconds. Moving along, Blood Craze. Now, Blood Craze may look like a good talent. You go, oh, hey, I can generate 3% of my health over 5 seconds every time I get hit, and that's a 10% chance. I'm a tank. I'm getting hit all the time. This ends up being so insignificant, though. It's not worth 3 points. I mean, you can quite honestly skip that talent with no trouble. Cruelty is a good one. If you want to go for Cruelty, it increases your critical strike chance of your Shield Slam ability, which is, your primary threat move. So it's a good one to go for if you have the 2 points to put into it. If you're going to go low in the tree, Piercing Howl is definitely worthwhile. The ability to daze reduce the movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds of a mob. Great on a fight like Magma, if you got to use it. So a lot of warriors like this one. These other ones, it really depends. Rude Interruption's okay. If you go with something kind of like, need to drop a few talents here real fast. If you go for something like Executioner, I mean, it can be done, but typically you won't see a lot of tanks with this. Booming Voice, I have seen, it's not bad. Gives you extra rage, it's good at the start of a fight. If you are planning to go into this tree of Fury, then Booming Voice is not a bad way to go if you're going to go lower. But, again, it's so-so at best. Alright, now, my recommendation here for a beginning tank would look something like this. You're going to want to pick up Thunderstruck. Now, these primary abilities up here are all very, very good, and you probably really, really would like to have them. So what you're seeing here is pretty much what you're going to want to have. Field Dressing, War Academy. Now, that gives you 1 point left if you go with this build. It's okay. Now, you can fiddle with it. Oh, excuse me. Take out Vigilance. You can put these 2 points where you think they'll work best. Personally, I'd say throw them over here into Cruelty. This makes for a very simple, elegant build. Good single target, threat in there, good multi-target, particularly on the multi-target front, good survivability. You're not making it more complex than you have to do with the impending victory and all that. Very straightforward, very solid starter build. Now, like I said before, warriors have a ton of different ways that they can spec depending on the situation they're in. They have a lot of flexibility. Figure out what kind of content you're running, use this information, and build the build that works best for you. Anyway, until next time, this is Eldoric The Guardian Tank, and choose your talents wisely.